Hi, today we'd like to talk about the cost of living in Bali and what you can expect to pay for while living here. Welcome to our channel. I'm Scott.
And I'm Becky. So, just a little bit about us. We've known each other well over 15 years. We were both living and working remotely in Miami, Florida, USA. We both love to travel and really wanted to take advantage of this opportunity, so we packed our bags and hit the road. Our first stop was actually Maui, Hawaii, where we lived for about 9 months, and then this past June we relocated to Bali, Indonesia. So as you may have heard, the cost of living has gone up a bit in Bali since the pandemic, and rightfully so, but honestly we still feel that it's really reasonable to live here. While being here, we stayed in a few different neighborhoods, but today's video is going to pertain to the cost of living in the neighborhood of Barawa, Canggu. Of course, in your own situation, your costs may be higher or lower than ours depending on your lifestyle.
So just a little background on these costs. These were derived from July to October of 2022, and we use an IDR rate USD of 15,000. So to start, first, our largest cost, surprisingly, was food at $542 each a month. For our situation, we have a kitchen, so part of our expense is food and grocery shopping. So we usually have, cappuccinos in the morning in our kitchen, or we'll do an omelet or a protein smoothie. And at night we'll go out for Western food. So the Western food is a little more pricey compared to local food. With that being taken, if you do eat locally, you can save probably $200 a month on food costs. What we also notice as far as going out to the grocery is that food is sort of expensive to make for meals. So realistically, you could probably eat out at the same expense or lower in most restaurants. So we noticed that as an item as well.
So our next biggest expense was our rent. We stay in a homestay or like an apartment building. It's a 3-story, has 8 units in it, and we're actually on the top floor. So our unit is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath with a small kitchen. We actually have a huge wraparound balcony, so beautiful views. Our rent is about 7 million IDR a month, or that equates to around $233 each USD a person. This rent includes electricity and Wi-Fi and cleaning twice a week. In addition, we pay for gas for the kitchen and 5-gallon water jugs. Every time we need to refill these, they cost around $2 to $3 each, so still really reasonable. Our next expense is actually liquor. So yes, we do like to partake in some adult beverages. And when we moved here, we were actually pretty surprised by how expensive liquor, wine, and beer is. So whether you're having it out at a restaurant or actually purchasing at the store. So for instance, like a bottle of whiskey or tequila that you might normally spend, say $40 or $50 on in the US, in Bali will cost you $100 plus. A bottle of wine, say an inexpensive one around $8, here will cost you $20 or more. When it comes to beer, it's just the same. Scott is actually a bit more beer connoisseur, not wine, that's me. Beer connoisseur, so he can tell you a little bit more about that.
So as far as beer goes, local beers, are still relatively cheap. You could buy beers for $1 at the store, and if you go out to restaurants, usually they're around $2 to $3 for local beers. Now, if you're like me and you like craft beers, it's a little more difficult. There's one brewery on the island, and they have a few varieties, but it's very limited. You're gonna pay Western prices for craft beers when you go to a restaurant here. And also, as far as buying craft beers at a grocery store, you're gonna probably pay twice as much as you would in the US. And once again, I particularly like IPAs, and for me, there's only like 3 or 4 on the whole island that you can get, and those are hard to find depending on where you go. So that was definitely a challenge for me if that's what you're looking for.
Our next expense was actually our visa. So for us, we did a B211A offshore visa, which allowed us to stay in Bali a bit longer. At the beginning, it was a one-time expense, around $200 each. Every time we need to renew, that was around $92. So if you want to just break it down, on average, we spend about $45 a month on our visas.
So now I'd like to talk a little bit about transportation costs. So Bali is not a walkable city. there's not many sidewalks anywhere, so you're gonna need your own transportation. So we rented a motorbike or a scooter for the month, and that was $120 a month. Now that's $60 each when you break it up. So we eventually ended up with the NMAX 155cc, which is a little bit larger, has a little more comfort and room, and a little more power. Now you can rent scooters for less and get a little bit less price depending on what you're looking for. And also the gas and fuel associated with those scooters ended up being $13 a month, which we thought was really reasonable. Another expense as far as transportation we had is we noticed there's times when we didn't want to use our motorbikes, so we rented a driver and hired a driver for the day. Now he would take us to different locations if we were on a tour or if we were just moving our luggage around, and we utilized him frequently, and that was actually very reasonable. And that cost came in around $17 a day.
Yeah. Our next expense is actually our laundry. So as you'll find, most places in Bali, your homes do not have their own washer and dryers inside, so you'll have to outsource. So for us, we were going to a laundromat, dropping our clothes off, usually getting it back within a day, and we spent about $15 a month on our laundry. And honestly, that's still really inexpensive, and then on top of it, you get to support a local business.
So overall, our primary cost, if you add all these up, is $992 a month. This is the breakout of the monthly average per person. Like I said, on the food cost, which is the biggest cost, consisting of 55% of all these costs, you can definitely save money if you want to eat locally and really cut your costs there. You could probably reduce that down to $200-300 easy. So I also want to talk about some extra costs that were associated while we're here. So we like to stay fit and are active. So we had some other costs related to gyms. So we had a gym membership and we tried a few different gyms on the island. The gyms range from very low end to very high end. We had one gym, Victory Gym in Prendanon we were using, which is very basic and was $2 a day just for a day pass and $20 to $30 a month for the whole month. So very basic gym, very cheap. We also tried another gym in Canggu called Bulldog Gym, which is about $70 a month, had more equipment, a little more variety of stuff. And then we also even tried a high-end gym, Finn's, which is more upscale and more services, and that's about $120 a month. We also like to practice yoga and get massages. So we went to a variety of different yoga studios, and there's some great studios and great instructors. And if you have any questions, hit us up on that and we can give you some more information. As far as cost for yoga, like a day pass can range anywhere. We've seen from $6 to $10 a day. Obviously it's cheaper if you get the monthly pass, and a lot of great studios. Massages we were getting for a while, and just if you want a basic massage, an hour massage, it runs around $10 an hour.
So a little bit more on that aspect. We tried a lot of different places for massages, and honestly they were hit or miss. So we actually got in touch with a gentleman who specializes in acupuncture and acupressure. He would come to our home, work on us each for an hour, and those visits were only about $18. And honestly, it was so well worth it. It was a little bit more of a luxury item for us, but honestly, he healed old injuries for us, and it just really helped us out physically and mentally. So that was an added expense for us, but it was so well worth the money.
Yeah, so that's one extra thing that Becky mentioned that's really a plus in Bali, is you could really get some skilled workers for relatively cheap compared to the US here. Like this guy was legit, and we were getting serious work done for $18 an hour. It was great. And one other thing I'd like to mention is, we bought a phone here which cost us $90. And you'll need that if you're living here long term, because if you want to order food online, have it delivered to you, or if you don't rent your own motorbike and you need transportation, you can use the phone to get services for motorbike rentals to get around the island. Also, in the US, we have Amazon to order items online. Here, it's called Tokopedia, so if you need anything online, you can order it to your home through your app and your new SIM card. Just one added expense that you may need to have, but obviously we're going to take that phone with us as well.
So we hope today's video, sheds some more light onto, your cost of living in Bali. Honestly, guys, we'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions for us, feel free to shoot them our way. And also, we want to hear about your own experiences here. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and look out for our next video. Okay, guys. See you later.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.